Steph Curry is the greatest shooter God has ever created.
Again, here's Curry for the record. It's good!
If you've been sleeping on Steph Curry, it's time to wake up, because this dude is turning into an absolute dog on the court. We all know the Golden State Warriors have been on a roller coaster this season, but guess who's been carrying the weight, putting the team on his back? Averaging 30.3 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 3.8 assists per game, this 35-year-old maestro is not showing any signs of aging. He has already snagged the Western Conference Player of the Week title in the first 14 games of the 2023-24 NBA season. Steph is not slowing down, he's cranking it up. 5 consecutive seasons of improvement, and we're not talking about minor tweaks. We're talking about leveling up his game from age 31 to 35, an age range where most NBA players are waving goodbye to their prime. Let's put this into perspective. Kobe Bryant was 34 when he last dropped over 20 points per game for a full season. Dwayne Wade was 33, Russell Westbrook and Allen Iverson, they were on the decline by their early 30s. Paul Pierce? Well, he was 31, but not Steph. Nope. He's out here rewriting the script, rewriting history, and turning the narrative on its head. The journey starts. Now, it all started on a Friday night in Phoenix back in 2009, and little did we know the game of basketball was about to change forever. A young Stephen Curry, just 21 years old, in his second NBA game with the Golden State Warriors. Baby-faced and shaven head, he's up against the Phoenix Suns. Pay attention, because what went down changed the game forever. In the final seconds of the second quarter, Curry dribbles up the court, passes to a teammate, and strolls beneath the basket. It's a position where most players would be a non-threat, but not Curry. In just 2 seconds, he pushes off his defender, creating enough space. Then he sprints back beyond the three-point line, receives a pass, and without hesitation, releases a high arcing jump shot. And boom, the ball effortlessly glides through the net with a crisp swish echoing. From about 24 feet away, with defenders closing in and the weight of the world on his shoulders, Curry makes a statement. A statement that would mark the beginning of a revolution in basketball. The TV commentator couldn't help but buzz with excitement. Now that's what they were talking about. One of the purest shooters you are ever going to see coming out of college.
Now that's what they were talking about. One of the purest shooters you're ever going to see coming out of college.
This shot wasn't just 3 points on the scoreboard. It was the first chapter in a story of a player deemed too small, too weak, too skinny for the NBA Giants. Curry proved the doubters wrong that night, but what unfolded next was beyond anyone's wildest imagination. That one shot would be the spark that ignited the flame of a basketball revolution. Curry's skills were reshaping the entire league, redefining what it meant to be a shooter and ushering in a new era of basketball. The 2023-24 season. Curry kicked off this season on a high note. I'm talking about a 41-point eruption in the second game, leading the Warriors to a 122-114 victory. He's out here making history, becoming the only player in NBA history to drop 30 points a game through his first 8 at the age of 35. But Curry is not just setting records, he's also breaking them. He led the Warriors in scoring for 11 consecutive games before a minor setback with an injury. This is the longest streak to begin a season by a player at the age of 35 or older. Even Klay had to give props. He said, "He is one of the hardest workers to play the game. The sky is the limit. He might change the narrative of what it looks like to be elite till you're 40. LeBron is doing the same, and Steph is following suit." Curry has already had a handful of dazzling moments this season, from a massive performance in Sacramento to the Kevin McAllister from Home Alone celebration. And let's not forget that controversial last-second game winner in Oklahoma City. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore the show this man is putting on. Offensive mastermind. Like last season, the Warriors are still relying on Curry's theatrics to keep the offense running. Let's run to the chase. The Warriors' offensive playbook is the Steph Curry show.
Oh, well, I think our offense is always a lot of Steph. It all starts with Steph. Whether, when KD was here, our offense still started with Steph. And, that's the way it's going to be.
Without Steph, the Warriors are like a spaceship without fuel. I mean, Kevin Durant noted this during his time with Golden State. Our offense is Steph. Steph is our offense. Durant was stating a stone cold fact. Curry is the secret sauce, the magic wand, the whatever you want to call it that makes their offense click. Now, let's rewind to last season. Curry was on fire before that shoulder injury tried to rain on his parade. In the first 26 games, he was dropping 30 points a night with great shooting splits, 50, 43, 92. Top 5 in total points and 131 three-pointers. This was 26 more than anyone else. The Warriors desperately needed Curry to dominate games to have a shot at winning. Now, when Curry hit the bench, it wasn't pretty. The Warriors went from an offensive symphony to a flat-out disaster. With Curry on the floor, the offensive efficiency was rocking 118.9, but when he took a breather, it nosedived to 99.9. To put that into perspective, the last time we saw numbers like that was with the 2015-16 Sixers, the team that practically lived at the bottom of the NBA barrel, finishing 10-72. And sure, the Warriors have tightened up their defense this season, but they still can't hang in the game if Curry is out. His minutes are through the roof and his workload is still heavy, even with CP3 around. Kerr's praise. Now let's talk about the man behind the man, Coach Steve Kerr. He's running out of words to describe Curry's greatness. He's throwing around comparisons to MJ, saying watching Curry drop buckets is like a religious experience. And he is not wrong. He recently said, "It's amazing to watch him. He looks better than ever at 35. He puts in the work every summer and keeps looking for ways to get better. There's a reason he is Steph Curry." But it's not just the coaches singing the Curry anthem. Draymond Green is sitting back appreciating the show. Talking about back-to-back games in Houston and New Orleans, Green said he took over both of those games. And here's the million-dollar question. Could Curry snag his third MVP? Yeah, it's early in the season, but the buzz is real. He is making a case as the oldest player to ever bag that award. The way he is playing, it's not just a possibility, it's a legit conversation. The comeback. Steph is back and you can feel the anticipation, but here is the reality check. The Warriors took the L 130-123. Curry dropped 25 points. Not bad for a comeback, but it wasn't enough to break the losing streak. The game was right in their hands, up by 3 with just 3 seconds left after an Andrew Wiggins triple, and then Chet drills a game-tying 3, sending it to OT, and in that extra period, OKC outscored the Warriors 13-6. Now, for the Warriors to bounce back, it's not all on Curry. Sure, he is dropping 30.3 points a game, doing his thing, but the supporting cast needs to step up. These guys have shooting percentages that'll make you cringe. Clay, 14 points per game on 40% shooting. Kuminga, 12.3 points per game on 43.4% shooting. And Wiggins, 12 points per game on 42% shooting. But here's the silver lining. There's still time. It's only 14 games in, and the Warriors can shake off this offensive slump. They've done it before. Remember last season when they ranked second in team scoring? Yeah. That is the magic they need to rediscover. Underrated Curry. When you think of Steph Curry, what's the first thing that pops into your head? I bet it's those insane three-pointers. But his finishing at the rim, off-ball wizardry, and yes, even his defense often get overlooked. It's like we're all stuck in this three-point trance and missing the other gems in Curry's arsenal. People love to throw shade at Curry, saying he's a liability on the defensive end, but rewind a bit. Did you know that this guy averages 1.6 steals for his entire career? At some points, he was swiping 2 a game. I get it, he is not exactly the Hulk on defense. He might not be the most imposing figure on the court, but what he lacks in height, he more than makes up for in basketball IQ. Greatest PG? So, you know the chatter, Magic Johnson, Steph Curry, the GOAT point guard discussion. It's been a hot topic, and recently, Gilbert Arenas dropped the bomb on Curry, straight up asking him if he thinks he's the best point guard ever. Curry doesn't hesitate. He looks at Arenas and says, yes, it's me and Magic. Now, before you start throwing your hot takes into the comments, let's talk about the elephant in the room, comparing eras. Draymond Green weighed in on this circus earlier this year saying, if you watch those two play basketball, you probably wouldn't say they're in the same position. And he has got a point. There is Magic, the true point guard, and then there's Curry, the scoring machine. Draymond doesn't pick sides. He says they're both the GOATs of their eras. It's not about pitting them against each other, it's about appreciating the magic Magic brought and the supernatural stuff Curry's doing. You can't go wrong, but you can have your preference. Now, before you bounce, make sure to smash that play button on the next video. We're diving deep into the Steph Curry Chronicles. It's not just a story, it's a warning to the entire NBA. So stay tuned and let's keep riding this Curry wave together.